Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gray Man Prepping. It is time for Tactical Tuesday, where we talk tactics, gear, and more, mainly gear, and a little bit more tonight, because tonight's topic is generator versus power station. And how's everybody doing out there? And we got, and I myself, I was looking at people saying how many ads they had and stuff. I've had 3 sets of 2 ads so far. Now they just pay me for all the ads they're putting out on my stuff. Alrighty, so first one in tonight was Walt Rogers, and those that didn't see it, Walt's been working with his dad and grandfather about putting solar panels on all the barns up there on his ranch, and then from the power from those, we're getting trying to get some stuff worked out to run some hydrogen manufacturing generators. So it's generate hydrogen and then capture it and put it into some tanks and odorize it, and that way they can use that to instead of natural gas or propane up there. And it looks like he's updated. They can now have 2 15K generators that are converted to run on hydrogen. And he didn't mention the other one, so I'm not going to mention what else he has that I know he has up there, because I know Walt. And Phelan's got 2 generators and 3 power stations. Sumi saying hi. 1351 came in. They got a Furman like I do here from Costco, and they have a 1500 watt one, an old one from 2008 that they were using at Scout Camp. Man, everything's just popping up here. Let's see. They're live, and he's just doing a video. Let's see. Chef Tech came in. Rebel Canis is here. Venerable Owl. The Aquatic News Network is here. Mother Earth Garden Club. The Watchman. Kalen Strain, and it's the Marshmallow Man. Utah Mike is here. Angels Homestead. Aidenir is here. And I've gotten about 10 notifications of everybody else deciding that, well, Gilga does good on Tuesday nights. Let's do it at the same time he does. And Mike, UK Urban Prepper, is in the house too. All right. Before I jump over, I've had several of the Goal Zero 150s, kind of like a little, looks almost like this, all right, type thing. And I used to use those for Scout Camp and stuff. Then I got this one here, which is a 400. Then a couple of years later, I got the Kodiak, which is a 1500. And then a year later, I got the Furman generator. That's a tri-fuel. So it's gasoline, propane, natural gas. And I can't quite remember what the set. It's like, I think it's 4,800 watts on natural gas. But I don't plan on running. It does have 220 on it, but I don't plan on running 220. Because once we get the water heater replaced later this year to natural gas, we can run everything in the house. Then is 110. There is no 220, except for maybe out in the shop if I get my welder hooked up. But I don't have to run that all the time. That's a bonus. And Diana 2's here. All right, so, and besides those, I have put together my own power stations. I had a big one with 24, 12-volt deep cycle RV batteries in it. And that was powering a 3,500 watt pure sine wave inverter. I'm in the process of swapping those out and I'm picking up ion lithium battery, LiFo batteries. But that's expensive and a little at a time. Yeah, I know Caitlin has her little. I just lost the name of it. Orange and black one. She has hers that she's shown on some of hers before. Alrighty, let's jump over to this. Lithium iron phosphate. Lipophosphate. Yeah, what Kaylin said. Lipophosphate. Yeah. That's right. Oh, that's right. She got the Upus. She picked up the Upus. I thought she had one, a little small one before that, but she got the 600 Upus. I believe she won it and something. And I believe she had a Jackery before. I know Mark Chef Deck has a Jackery. And we're going to talk about the benefits between small ones and big ones and generators and what you can do with them. And let's switch it over to there. All righty, so generators come in all sizes and flavors, and there are generators, and then there are ones they call inverters, but they're a different type of wired generator, still the same. It still turns stuff and does magnetic conversion and stuff. That's why they call it inverter on it. But no Jackery. Okay, yeah, she just won the Opus. All right. So they come in all sorts of different sizes, flavors, you name it. They're there. And what's interesting, for the longest time, if you wanted to run anything on 220, you had to have a generator, or 220, 240, depending on what your power company says it is. But there are now so many of the like this Anchor Solex. I don't know if you can see it, but on the side there, you got the 30 amp twist lock, and then you got the 50 amp 220 or 240 on it, plug on it, so you can run things on it. Yeah, there's a lot of differences and bonuses to having one or the other, and there's some good bonuses to having both. I want to talk about those as we get going here. Come on. Okay, first thing you got to figure out, what are your wants versus your needs? I want to be able to power everything in the house. I need to run the refrigerator, the freezer, some lights at night, just to make it more comfortable and fun and easier to take a shower and shave by. Being able to power the computer, power the Wi-Fi to, the internet, to be able to do other things. That's kind of it's balances between wants and needs, And so you got to figure out where you're drawing that line at. This is my bare minimum I need to have. And like one of the things for me is I have my 400 watt, this right here, this 400 watt Goal Zero. All that powers is my CPAP machine, and it can power it for 4 days, 5 days if I don't sleep a full 8 hours each night. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight is in the house. TV and PS5 is all I need one for. Yeah. And so you have, because what you want is one thing, and what you need is something else. And if they're both equal, right. But then, you can then figure out what you're going to need to get to meet your needs or wants for, and then you got to figure out the time frame. Yeah, EcoFlow, the EcoFlow Deltas have been stepping up their game even more. Ben Gilmore lives 2.5 miles south of me. Runs Minuteman. He changed his channel name from Minuteman Prep to Minuteman Solar, and he stopped doing a lot of his other prepping videos, like going to the range and doing the food dehydrator and stuff. But he'll show that stuff when he's running it on a solar generator or solar power station. I hate calling them solar generators because they are not solar generators. They are a battery bank that can be charged by solar or another 12-volt battery system or by plugging it into the wall. Yeah, the Delta 2s, you can still pick them up over here, but they are, they're slowly going by the wayside. And then there's the Delta 3, the Delta 3 Pro, Delta 3 Pro Max. Yeah. Yeah. And that's basically all they are, is a battery bank with an inverter built in and multiple ways to charge it. All right. Let's go to the next slide here. So one of the things is watts versus hours. How many watts are you going to use for how many hours? And let me just switch to, there we go. Okay. One of the things where this comes in play in being smart about how you run things is that your power stations and inverter stations and everything else you put together, everything else like that, the batteries in them are rated at watt hours. That's how many watts you can use in an hour before it takes it down. Now, if you're only using 100 watts and it's got a 650 watt hour battery, that means you can do 6.5 hours at 100 watts. Simple math. So that's one of the things, for figuring out the watts you need to use versus the number of hours you need to run it. With that in mind, you don't need to be, if you have a chest freezer, you probably only need to run it for like an hour twice a day, unless you're opening it up constantly. Your refrigerator, if you're smart and judicious about using it, and leave it closed until you're going to grab something out of it. And you say, all right, the milk's here, that's there. Open it, grab, close it. And that way you try to keep all the cold air in it. You won't have to run it as often as you do. You got teenagers. What do I want to get now? No, I don't want that. I don't want that. 5 minutes later, still trying to figure out what they want to get. Meanwhile, it's trying to keep up, with the door open syndrome. Yeah. Yeah, you get a larger one. Do not get rid of the lower one, because the lower one is one of the things you can do it. And Mark uses his Jackery. How many watts in a plant? He goes, yeah, I'll tell you what to draw on it on some of them nowadays. Mark says, build your own. Yeah, I built my own, and I use a 3,500 watt inverter on it. But I try not to draw more than 1,400 watts at a time, because when you draw more watts, the inverter gets hotter and the fans have to run more, which means they're using power to cool it off while it's trying to provide 110 voltage or 120 voltage for you. And it's, so yeah, it's just one of those things is, you don't want to run it so it's having to cool itself off all the time. Let's see what we got today. Yeah. Don't forget, get your little MP3 player so you can listen to Weird Al singing Amish Paradise when the power's out. You know, a little battery-powered one with an earbud. Yeah, the cold air runs, sinks and runs out of the fridge like a waterfall. Yep. It depends on the inverter. They have some out there that don't do anything until it actually feels a draw, and then it has a lag time to kick in and engage. So if you if you have just your refrigerator plugged in and it's not drawing anything, and it's just sitting there, it's not drawing power. The inverter shuts off. They have the new ones now. Ben was just talking about one of those, and it's really cool. It shuts off. Let's go. I'm not going to draw anything. There's nothing going out. I don't need to be running. But some of the older ones, yeah, they would draw all the time. All right, let's go to the next one here. So 120 volts versus 240. Do you need to run 240 in your house? If you have an electric stove, an electric dryer, an electric hot water heater, you're going to want to have some way of having that 240 volt power. If you don't, you can get by with the 120. And there are some nice inverters that are 5,000 watt inverters that are 120 only. And they're smart ones now, so they don't draw anything unless you're using something off of them. Oh, I think we've all tried the loopy side. Yeah, if your pump is a 220 pump, there are some shallow wells, like Mark will have up at his property, where you can do 120 volt. And there are also ones that run strictly on solar, all of them by themselves, and they run either 12, 24, or 48 volt, and you just got to wire your panels accordingly. I am so thirsty. I was out there working in the sun all day today, and oh, it was hot. Yeah, well, okay, I just got an ad popped up over here for Festool, Festool. That's a pretty cool, cool one. I just got to convince the wife to let me buy it. Or when she sees it, she may want to get it for me, because she has a lot of woodworking equipment, tool stuff too. Got an ad for a LG OLED. Yeah, okay. Oh, just before I went live, I got the light, the windshield replaced in my truck out here, and paid the guy off. And I was walking by, he hollers, wait! You want a free can of glass light? Safe light glass cleaner. And so now we're going to see ads. See if we get ads for this now. But yeah, he goes, it's free. Go ahead and take one. So I took one. Considering that the car is getting sprinkled by the sprinklers a little bit, so I get it fine-tuned. But I had it fine-tuned, and the wind pit was blowing at a decent rate, so I got the car all wet and water spotted. But all right, back to this stuff here. The electric is one of the reasons why we went with natural gas here. So we got the gas furnace. Coming tomorrow is finally got the delivery time set. Coming tomorrow is the gas range and the gas dryer. So sometime around September, we're going to change out the electric water heater and go with a gas water heater. Either one has the the tank with the powered exhaust on it, so it's cold air being blown out, so I can send it sideways out instead of up to the roof. Or we're just going to go with a tankless, which is also a powered system on it, so it has a you can go straight out through the wall for an intake and exhaust on it. Okay, so Harbor Freight Ver 2500 watt. Yeah. I was using, back when we first started up the CERT program in Martinez at the Peddlers Fair, the CERT program set up a booth to sell ice cream for fundraising for our equipment. So I had the Harbor Freight 45 watt panels, 3 15-watt panels, and I had 3 deep cycle RV batteries for it. And I was running a 5 cubic foot chest freezer from Sam's Club, and that it was still powering it after, I got there at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was 7 o'clock in the evening when I went home, and it kept that thing, all batteries up, charged and going on it. Because the chest freezer, even though we're open up in the heat, we were under a shade canopy, but opening in the hot summer heat, but all the cold stayed in there. So, yeah. Let's see. Apparently, I have 2 matching batteries to max. Cool. Hubby has an APU on his truck. Excellent. So, yeah, you gotta figure out whether you actually need to run 240 or just 120 going to be fine for you. That will dictate as far as the power stations. Yeah. Now my 3500 watt inverter I got from Harbor Freight. I also have a 2500 watt inverter from Harbor Freight for my smaller one, and I have a portable one I made, and I also have a 1500 watt one that I made that just takes 4 golf cart batteries that are wired together for Scout, that I was using for Scout Camp to be able to power everybody's CPAP machines. I haven't had any problems with those. I haven't had any problem with those, but the ones I got were all pure sine wave, spent a little bit more, and I try not to use more than 50% of what it's rated for. Now, for inverters, an inverter will be rated at, say, 1500 watts. That's its continuous draw. It has a surge capacity of 2000 or 2200 watts. That's if you got an electric motor, like for a refrigerator or something, you have a surge on it. I try not to have more than 50% of its continuous rating being used. So if it's a 1500 watt, means I try not to put more than 750 watts on it. That keeps the inverter from heating up too much and drawing too much power to cool itself down. The inverter fell 4 feet off my deck when I was mounting it. So, all right, Mike, take care. Get a good night's sleep. All right, next one here. So power stations input versus output. The same thing goes for the inverters in a power station. If it's rated for, 2,500 watts, 2,500 watts of output for its inverter, try not to go more than 50%. Definitely don't go more than 66%, 2/3. Just to keep it from heating up, and because even though it's there's no moving parts in it, the electricity flowing through it causes the circuitry to, when it gets hot, expand, contract, expand, contract. You know, heat damages the circuit boards and stuff. Yeah, so you try to keep the heat down on it. Excellent, excellent. Now input versus output. So it's got the output of say 2,500 watts. What if for the solar charge input on it? How long is it going to take it if you're down to 10% overnight? You've gotten it down to 10%. How long is it going to take for it to charge? Some of them out there, and Ben has his nice little spreadsheet over on portablepoweredsolar.com that of all the power stations he reviews, those that you can't charge it up in a full day of sun get a red mark on it for chargeability, because it takes too much time to charge it back up for what you're using, and you only have so many hours of daylight to charge it on. Now, if you have it where it can charge off of like a cigarette lighter adapter, that's going to be even less power than what the solar input is usually. However, a lot of them have better plugging it into the wall recharge time. So if you don't have any solar at all, but you're worried about power outages and stuff, you plug it into the plug it into the wall and do it so when the power goes out, you got power for certain things. Power comes on for 15 minutes, it's charging for that 15 minutes before the power goes out again. And if it comes on for an hour and it goes out again, so that's one of the things we have where you can charge it by have a good wall charger speed on it. The UPS Mega 2 has a 2.5 hour charge time. The Mega 3 has a 2 3/4 hour charge time. And I'm not sure what the Mega 4 and Mega 5 is, but they're all have really good quick wall charge times, which is what I want to get a couple of those here, because our power outages here don't last a long time. But if I had one here in my office here to power all my computers, and then I could actually run it, have it run off the Mega 2, but have the Mega 2 on one of my timers so it only charges during the time when the electricity is cheaper here, off-peak times. Yeah, it would lower my electrical bill overall, just the fact that I'm pulling off of off-peak times only for it. I want to do the same thing for the refrigerator and freezer in the kitchen and for the microwave in the kitchen. I need to parallel my second 100-watt Harbor Freight array. Yeah. All right. So yeah, when you're picking out, always look for if you are going to use solar panels, what is the charge rate versus the output, and can you do it while it's can you recharge it after it's been used all night? The other thing is some of the smaller ones, especially even a couple of bigger ones, you can't charge and discharge at the same time. You can't have solar power input or solar power input and output at the same time. Now, there were a couple of them that you can't do that too, but you can plug it in to the wall because it goes to a different thing to charge, and you can charge it through the wall while you're using it, but that's kind of redundant, but for most people. So if you're looking at your power station, you want to make sure your input versus your output doesn't leave you high and dry. Generator, runtime versus fuel. Yes, runtime versus fuel. Let me, I got to pull something up here. Hang on a second here. Where is it? There it is. All right, got to get this just right for you guys so it sinks in. So runtime versus fuel. I guarantee you this sucker sucks through the fuel, because I can count just on this side, I can count 3 turbos, and I can see one on the other. So this is a 6 turbo diesel engine. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. So anyways, now this is where your dual fuel or tri-fuel froze. This is where your dual fuel or tri-fuel engines come in. And that's why I went and got this tri-fuel Furman, because it runs on gasoline, it runs on propane, and it runs on natural gas. And now that I got natural gas to this house, I can run on all 3. Oh, yeah. Now, so one of the things I tell people, if they got, I got a generator, I can power my house. It's like, don't power your house all the time. If you got a generator, and unless you happen to have a 5,000 gallon fuel tank sitting out back, don't run it all the time. Plus, if you run it all the time, you can only run it for 50 hours before it needs to be serviced. So that's the other thing. You got to track your hours you're running your generator. At 50 hours, they need to be serviced. Now, the company the construction company I work for at Mountain Cascade, we did a workaround on that. We built a oil reservoir onto the generator. So instead of taking a quart or a quart and a half of oil, it took a gallon and a half of oil, and it circulated. It had a little thing, so it circulated the oil through it. So it was getting serviced all the time. So we only had to service it every 250 hours. So other runtime problems. Okay, so if you're running it all the time, but you're not using electricity all the time, you're wasting fuel. It takes about, if you run a generator for a half hour every 6 hours, you will get your refrigerator and chest freezers back down to their cold temperature, and they'll stay cold for 6 hours until it kicks in again. So that's when you run a cycle like that, you don't need to be running it all the time. Whereas with a power station, you generally don't have to worry about doing that. However, even with a power station, I would get one of my little timers I've shown. One of the little timers I've shown for the my grow lights, and I would have set it so, all right, 6 hours, run for a half an hour. 6 hours, run for half an hour. 6 hours, run for half an hour. And plug that into the inverter, and then plug the refrigerator into that, so the refrigerator can only run every 6 hours for a half an hour. Excellent. All right. Yeah, in your fuel usage, fuel is a problem because for gasoline or diesel, for a diesel generator, the liquid fuels have shelf life. Yeah, you can put stable or one of the other things into it to help extend its shelf life. But yeah, diesel and gasoline have a shelf life. Plus, you need to, if you have a generator, a gasoline or diesel generator, you're going to need to fire that sucker up once a month for a minute or two, just to get stuff flowing through it and make sure it stays lubricated, and go through a little, getting the fuel out of the gas line so you get fresh fuel in there. Just general, keep it up and running, testing type stuff. All right, next one here. For both identifiably and anonymous. Okay, basically what I'm saying here is, if you have a power station, one of the big whole house ones or whatever, and you got solar panels up on your roof, everybody knows about it. If you have the portable one and you set up the solar panels in the backyard, they're not going to be able to notice it. But if you have to set it up in the front yard, because that's where the sun is at, and your backyard is totally shade. Hey, prepper girl, how's it going? Then everybody's going to see, oh, he's got a solar system there. Oh, we can go we can take an extension cord over here and plug into it. Same thing's true with a generator. If the generator is out there making noise and the whole neighborhood goes, oh, somebody has a generator, they got power. Let's get the 100-foot extension cord. Let's go plug in. Then you can have everybody trying to plug in. There are some great videos here on YouTube on building a soundproof generator shed. Little one, like it looks like a little garden tool shed deck box type thing the generator fits in. And you can build one of those. They got different styles, different ones they use it for. One of the main things they do on all of them, they get some of that nice thick foam insulation and insulate it, or they get the fiberglass insulation or the rock wool insulation, and to keep it in there. Shady Homestead. And they so keep the sound in there. And then the one modification just about every one of them does is they're making a modification to the exhaust. And someone will just get the buy an extra exhaust mount and take it to the shop and get a pipe welded onto it, and then put a big old car muffler on there, so the sound that's coming out of it is just like a. And if you're on the other side of the house, you can't even hear it. Heck, if you're on the other side of the backyard, you can't even hear it. So, generator doghouse, or as Tammy was saying, a generator dollhouse or a kid's playhouse. You put it in there because that stuff usually has two plastic. It's hollow, it's foam. It's injected molded, so it's got a space in there, and that'll help keep things quiet as well. Ooh! Neighbor's chickens got attacked. Ow! Sounds like something needs to be done there. They shouldn't have had chickens, but I heard the whole attack. Yeah. Yeah. But at 58 decibels at night, when all of a sudden there's no noise out and it's pitch black and everybody's senses are, like Spidey sense going off, ding, 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 where's stuff at, will be a lot more noticeable than it would under normal times. So you want to keep your power, you want to keep your anonymity, which also brings to another thing outside of what we're talking about, and that is blackout curtains and that sort of stuff. We've talked about that several times. I've done several other videos on it as well. So you want to exercise light. What's the word? Light discretion. That's not the word, but you know what I mean. So there's no light getting out. Is that the last one I got here? That's the last one on that. So you got to figure out what's going to work best for you in your condition. For Kaylin, it's power stations, not generators. Right now, my wife has a 5,500 watt, yeah, no, 5,800 watt generator down there in California. Light discipline. Thank you. That's it. Light discipline. So she can run stuff down there. She didn't want to put solar panels on the new roof we put on. She goes, no, we ain't going to do that. And there's really no other place to put it there without putting it on the roof. So it's kind of like, all right, we'll just go with the generator. Power outages aren't that long. Hey, Moon over Miami's here. And so for the California house, it's a generator. Up here, I got all my solar panels up here. I just got to figure out a spot to put them at. And we kind of talked about it a little bit when she was up here a couple of weeks ago. But the next time comes up, we're going to do a little more serious planning and less neck-breaking work out we were doing, work on and everything, and try to figure out where we want to put solar panels so that we can, use the battery systems that we have that I have here already. Because right now my battery systems, I just keep them topped off for emergencies. But yeah, it's just running an extension cord from the shop into the house to plug in the whatever I want to plug in. Okay. What else? So anybody have any questions about them? About, one versus the other? One thing I really like about this being tri-fuel, like it's on gasoline, I turn it over to the one, actually it's in the off position. I turn it over to the one, it's natural gas and propane. I turn it over to the other one, it's gasoline. And then over on the end here is another switch for a pressure regulator for natural gas or propane. So, and I like this one here. It is a electric start. And I just make sure I start it up a little bit and make sure it's that battery is fully charged at all times. Yeah, we got several big boxes of candles and other stuff for lights too. So there are other options for lights, so you don't need to use either of these. There's oil lamps. There's propane camping lanterns. There's LED lanterns that have a solar charger on top, so you can put it outside during the daytime. It charges up the battery and use it for 4 or 5 hours at night. So there are other options to help extend the use of one or the other for power consumption. Cool. One of the things I did with this 400 watt Goal Zero, with 3 people using their CPAPs on it, it would go one full night and just about a second night as well. Well, I brought up 2 100 watt solar panels and plugged into it, and fortunately our camp area, Scout Camp, was situated that by 9 o'clock there was light hitting down on the solar panels, and it went to about 5 o'clock in the evening before they got into the shade. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this thing here was totally charged up to 100%. Yeah. Also, just your notices of estate sales and garage sales. People are getting rid of crap, and you got candles, and usually the candles, they say free on the candles, or you get this box of candles for $1, big box of candles for $1, type thing. Saturday at Fry Bread selling booth. Messing with the generator, so messing and the propane stove we were using. Yeah, that's the thing too. Is if you're out camping, practice camping to see how these things work. When you're out of the house, practice camping. Backyard, actually really camping, and just see how things go for you. All right, how much is the Furman? The Furman is, hang on a second here. Go ahead and close that. Yes, should have left this up. Tri-fuel generator. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, this is how the prices jump by people selling it. All right. This is the 8,000. Oh, this is the 8,000 watt one, and it's $1,200. This is tri-fuel. This is a 8,000 watt one. So it's $300. It's $250 cheaper at Lowe's over Home Depot. This is a refurbished one. This is a 7,500 watt with a 9,400 watt surge on it. This is just the gasoline one. But Harbor Freight has a 1,300 watt tri-fuel for almost the same price as the that one there. There's a small portable one here, but I'm gonna see if they throw up the. All right, so let me look at the other one here. This is where I've always found it cheaper at Costco. All right, so let's open this here up. So this is a 7,500 run, that. So this is, all right, so $900 for the tri-fuel at Costco. When I bought it, it was $725. So it's gone up $174 from when I bought it 5 years ago. So, and you got to realize this on the tri-fuels. There's something very important here. Gasoline. It's a 7,500 watt continuous, 9,400 watt surge. On propane, it's 6,750 continuous, 8,450 surge. For natural gas, it's 5,500 running, continuous watts with 6,900 surge. This is new on it. Mine does not have this. Carbon monoxide alert system and shutdown. So it starts sounding if it starts picking up carbon monoxide wherever it's at. In other words, it's not getting good ventilation outside and it's in an area where it's getting trapped out by the side of the house or whatever, it'll shut down on its own. That's good. That's another thing you don't have to worry about with a power station is carbon monoxide. And what's the difference continuous and okay, so you plug in your refrigerator. Your refrigerator draws continuously 750 watts. But to start up, it may start that motor and compressor going. It may draw 1100 watts for the first 5 seconds. So that's what the surge is for when you got electrical motors starting up. Hair dryer kicks on. That first little bit, it's going to surge a little bit more than it is when it's running. No, in the breeze, the monitor won't shut it down at all. It's when there is no breeze and the carbon monoxide is being trapped around it is when it'll shut it down. So if you're in a well-ventilated area, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're in an area where, between the garage and the house, or between the house and the neighbor's fence and the bushes there, and there's no fresh air blowing through that area, that is where the carbon monoxide detector will help in it. All right. So anyways, that's it. And I know if you go to Costco a lot, keep an eye on it because at Costco prices drop. Last year, it went from $900 back down to $750 for about a month or a couple weeks. So it was a special sale they had because they picked up a bunch of them. So and also the season of the year when you go and buy these too. Now the other thing here is, let me bring the other one up here. Just looking here. There we go. Boom. I'm going to open several things up here for you guys so make it quicker. Go. Is that it? Oh, I got to get that one. And that one there as well. Yeah. Okay, so let me get over here. So this is on Amazon. Amazon prices are pretty comparable with this company's own website. So this here is a 2400 watt with a 4500 watt surge. Has a 2232 watt hour live battery. And Ben Gilmore says, why didn't they just do 2222? Make it so much more fun. But yeah, so it's a little bit. And so so this is just this unit here, something like this, $760. Right now it's on 31% off. This is a smaller unit. This is a 2000. Well, this is all right. So this is a 2100 watt unit with a 2048 watt hour battery. So basically, if you're running full power on it, you're not going to get an hour out of it. Like I said, you don't want to run. You want to keep it at half power. All right, this is $800 for this little jewel here. 20% off right now. This is the Mega 2, and it is a 2500 watt with a 5400 watt peak or surge. It's expandable. It's 10,240 watt hour battery in it, and it runs the solar charge. So there's different ones on it. This is 900 something on it, but this is a decent one here, and this is expandable. You can expand it with batteries. This is the Mega 3, 3600 watt, 3072 watt hour battery. It's not a solar generator, it's a power station. Anyways, it has a 7,000 watt surge on it. 0.8 hours, less than an hour fast charge. So if the power comes up for 45 minutes, you're about fully charged again. That's the Mega 3. The Mega 2, which is one of the ones I want to try to convince the wife to get one for here, but this is the one with the with a backup battery on it. So this is when you can go, you know, a while running just while refrigerator and freezer on. So it's and it comes. It's also, you can check this all on Amazon. That was the Mega. That's the Mega 5, Mega 3. That's the Mega 2 single. This is the Mega 2 connection. This has the battery and the inverter and everything on it. So, and I think it was the Mega 5 that you can, the Mega 5 that you can plug one into another, two of them together to get with an adapter to get the 240 volts on it. But anyways, that's just some of the things out there. You want to see more about these? Go check out the YouTube channel, Minuteman Solar. Ben Gilmore. He's put stuff out all the time. Get on his email list so you'll get notified when he does videos and stuff, or when he does testing on stuff. I get notifications from him faster than I get notification from YouTube. All right, so coming up here, let's jump over here. So tomorrow, nothing tomorrow. I may or may not do a pop-up live tomorrow. They're supposed to be delivering my range and dryer, so I may pop up with my Kindle and the cameras out there, just going live with the guys delivering it. Yeah. All right, but Thursday is the Midnight Ride. Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound is Friday the 13th. I am driving to California on Friday. I should be live on time if things work out right. And we'll be talking about old movies and stuff. And I'll try to get the staff sergeant on there with me. Saturday is back here on Gray Man Prepping after the magnetic poles flip. What are your plans? And Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound is 6-year anniversary for Camp Patton Family Compound. Going to be showing some of the old video clips that were, a little short, before they had shorts, it was, oh, here's 15 seconds of what I'm doing out here. Videos, absolutely. Some had to laugh or cry. I would say, just figuring out how to do stuff around here, videoing it. Next Tuesday, Major Mistakes New Preppers Make, Part 2. So we're going to pick up off where we left off with the other one several months ago, and go into more major mistakes that new preppers make. One of these days I'm going to do major mistakes that experienced preppers make. One of these days I'll do that. All right, that's what's coming up here for the next week. And so I should have more videos from there in California when I get there for you guys to see. So keep your eyes out for it. And in the meantime, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill every month, like learn how to be an electrician. Not professional, but just enough so you can get by with. And grow something. All right? Take care, and I will see you Thursday for the Midnight Ride.